Thank you for tuning in to TalkWad.com, the world's fastest growing internet radio network. Please check out all the other great shows on www.talkwad.com.
Insight Talk Radio Show was born from the need to spread the word to all who want to live the amazing life the Creator has intended for us. Reverend Janet Reynolds has 30 years of spiritual insight and experience. She has studied and taught in and outside of this country and has developed a respect for all religions, beliefs, and spiritual practices that are of God's true light. The lessons she learned are now shared every week on Insight Talk Radio. Tune in every Tuesday from 1:30 to 2:30 for spiritual guidance, tips, and techniques to aid you in your life's journey. The show also features interesting guest phone readings, healings, and meditations.
Oh, here we go. I got it. Will. Will was giving me a thumbs up. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to my show, Insight. I am Janet Reynolds, your host today. I am a spirit medium and an intuitive counselor, and Blue Feather is my guide. Now, today's topic is on spinal health, and I do have a special guest today, and that is going to be Dr. Jenny Mejia, and she's so young. She really is, and she has a lot of good information to give you today. And then, of course, my Wikipedia has some good information to give us today. But before we get started, if anybody would like to call in, the telephone number is 727-597-4022. Now, Dr. Mejia, how are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
I am doing good, and it's Jenny. And her the initials behind her name is D. Oh, yeah.
Yep,
DP. Dr. DC.
Yes, Doctor of Chiropractic.
Yes. also means District of Columbia, where I'm from. But she is third generation family woman chiropractor, which is really very interesting. She has her office here in Tampa. And she is from Aledo,
Illinois.
Aledo, Illinois. Mm-hmm. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
I'm so glad you're here. She and I were talking before the show, and I always learn so much. I really do. So now would you just please tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we can get into our conversation?
Sure. I actually... As she said, I'm a third-generation woman chiropractor. My grandmother actually was a chiropractor, graduating in 1959, and my mother in 1975, and also my father, chiropractor, and my uncle as well. But my grandma originally had become a chiropractor because she was getting terrible migraine headaches and had tried every other means, and we actually grew up very close to where the fountainhead of chiropractic is, which is in Davenport, Iowa. And she was a school teacher, and she would have debilitating headaches. And finally, somebody said, "You need to go to Palmer and get adjusted at the chiropractic school there." Oh, no. I don't think that's for me. Finally, she said, "Okay, enough's enough," and she went. And she was adjusted there, and ended up that her migraines went away, and she no longer had migraines. And she actually ended up working for a little while for B.J. Palmer as his receptionist. And from that, basically, they convinced her that she should become a chiropractor herself. And there's actually a chiropractor that was her chiropractor when she was getting adjusted there, who's Sid Williams. He actually just recently passed away, but he is the founder of Life, which a lot of chiropractors here locally went to that school. So there's a lot of history behind, I guess, my family and finding chiropractic.
And I think that's just really great. 3 women in the family, being chiropractors, and I just think it's really nice. And you mentioned D.D. Palmer, that your mom worked for him.
Well, it was actually B.J. His D.D. Palmer's son is B.J. Palmer, and so that's who she worked for. Yeah.
Okay, all right. But D for David, D. Palmer is is the first one who came up with the theory on spiral joint dysfunction.
Right, and that was in Davenport, Iowa, where
Ye-
I'm from Aledo, Illinois, which is right across the border from there.
Yeah, see, so and that's really it's interesting. But see what you were telling me, that's even more interesting, the connection to them as family. Let's tell the
Yeah,
people that.
yeah, basically like what I was kind of saying, how, my grandma actually worked for BJ for a little while, and they actually convinced her that she should become a chiropractor because she was helped so much by chiropractic. And so then I guess from there, my mother, used to be a pen pal to BJ, and they would write letters to each other. And, she would send him cigars, and he would send her presents, and so we kind of created this relationship, I guess, with the whole Palmer family. And so Agnes Palmer, who's also passed away, she was a good friend of our family as well.
Oh,
So,
now see,
so there's a whole connection there.
I know, and I really think that's really great. I really do. Now, of course, I looked it up in the Wikipedia to find out what spinal health was, or what their definition of spinal health is. And they use so many big words. It blows me out. But this is what they say about chiropractic, so that everyone knows. Chiropractic is a complementary and alternative medicine healthcare profession concerned with the diagnosis, treatment, and the prevention of disorders of the nervous system. Dr. Jenny, let me use nervous system because the word that we have here is
Neuromuscular skeletal.
yes, and that and she says it so easy. And the other thing that it says is that it emphasizes on manual and manipulative therapy for the treatment of the vertebrae. And I think that's really very interesting. So would you please tell everybody a little bit more, explain more about that part of it and what you do?
Yeah, basically, when people come into the office, we'll do a consultation and actually see what's going on with their specific cause. And a lot of times, when there are other like symptoms that are expressing themselves in their body, there are usually basically subluxations where the vertebrae is out of place, that is affecting the person. So whether they have a loss of cervical curve, or if they've got something more severe like scoliosis, these different things can definitely make it so that your body expresses symptoms. So it's just basically your body's way of telling you that there is a problem when you start experiencing these kind of symptoms.
Many years ago, and really it's probably only been about 5 years ago, I couldn't move my shoulder. And I had to go to a chiropractor. I couldn't lift my arm up over my head. And I went to him, and it took a little bit of time. But he did get it out of me, and he did fix it, let me say that. And I'm trying to think of his name, God love him. And he's right there next to Publix on 19. I'll tell you his name in a minute. It'll come to me. But it's important that people understand that chiropractors do a good job on the body, because sometimes they say that going to a chiropractor is not the best.
Yeah, and I think it just depends who you speak with. A lot of times, even if you talk to, especially now, I find out, there's a lot of MDs and DOs, and even this people who do surgery on spines. They understand that chiropractic is the preventative, and it's a first step and we're going to see, okay, can the chiropractor help me with this problem? Then if it's something that isn't a chiropractic problem, then let's take the next step. And I think a lot of more other primary care physicians are seeing that these days, and which is really positive, not only for the patient, but also just, for everyone, so that as we go on, they're not going to have all these other problems, because once you cut into somebody, that's never going to be the same.
No. And I have a sister who has been operated on her back for I don't know how many times, and has a plate in her neck. And I just think that is not the best way to go. And then, of course, it was too late to mention chiropractor because it was right before I moved here in Florida. And of course, moving here in Florida changed my whole life, and I learned quite a bit more.
Right.
And then I did say to her chiropractor, but it was too late, really.
Mm-hmm.
So never too late in my mind, but in her mind, it was
Right.
too late. So.
Right. And there's been some amazing research. I actually was just at a seminar in January for Parker seminars, and they basically were telling about all this new research that's been done, especially for patients. Basically, if they go to a chiropractor first versus if they go to a neurosurgeon first, what are their percentage if they're actually going to need surgery? And so when they go to the chiropractor, it's significantly cut down on the amount of people that actually end up needing surgery.
Yes.
So, which to me is huge. I mean, if you can just get adjusted and that can basically help it, then, you know, why would we want to do something more invasive, like, you know,
cutting into the body.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
that would be my last resort. It really would. I wouldn't
Right.
let them do
Which for
that.
most people it should be. It should be the last resort, but for some, it, you know, we live in a society where people want things now. They want quick results, and so they think that that's going to be that quick result when it's not always. I mean, the repair time, it does take a time to repair after those things.
Well, it does. And I was talking to, well, you and I were talking about this, but I was talking to one of my best friends coming over, and we're talking about, you know, as we get older, of course, how the knees and the hips are really affected. And
it doesn't only have to be when you get older. It can also be people who are athletes, who are runners, you know, and who, you know, they're running on different surfaces that may not be the best, and so then they start getting knee problems. So it can be all ages, but you're right. I mean, as you get older, there are more aches and pains, but you can change those effects if you're getting adjusted.
That's
you know?
a polite way of saying it. It's more aches and pains. I'll have to tell you about that. But, you know, there's a lot that you can do to heal your body.
Yes.
And then even with the chiropractor, you know, you know, the one thing, like what we were talking about, which I thought was interesting, and hopefully y'all would like to hear this, is I do take a health joint supplement for my knee because I did hurt my knee last year when I was doing squats. And my knee, I feel, is really healed well, but it's because of the joint health, Shackley Joint Health supplement that I'm taking. But now Dr. Jenny has said that there's still another way. So
well, basically what's in that supplement, which I'm assuming, I don't know specifically because I haven't checked
right.
the bottle, but usually it's made of glucosamine chondroitin is what they're made of. And there's other ways to get that into your diet. Like you can make a soup from a chicken, like a whole, you know, chicken, you cook it, take off the meat, and then you can just cook it and make a broth out of it, which is an excellent way. I tell a lot of like my patients who are either CrossFitters or doing these extreme races, triathlons, other Tough Mudders, to drink that either before or after the race because it will help your body repair because of the cartilage loss.
Yeah, see? And then she said we could eat
that. The cartilage actually from the chicken too is another way. It's basically a way to do it where it's going to be inexpensive for somebody who may not be able to afford the supplement because they are expensive. It does add up, but
yeah,
you know.
But yes, they are expensive, but it helped my body. But when she said we could eat the chicken, the parts of the chicken, which she said correctly, I was just making chicken salad this morning before I came in, and I was picking the part out that I should have left in because I could have eaten it, but that's okay. But it's interesting the way that y'all work on individuals' bodies. And
and we look at the overall health of somebody. We're looking at what's the cause of the problem, not just what is the problem, because so many times your body expresses different symptoms in different ways, and so many times they can be helped you know, with getting adjusted. But there's other things too you have to look at, you know, people's stress levels, because we are in a society where stress is just a huge factor. Also making sure to drink plenty of water, get plenty of rest, making sure to exercise. And another one that most people don't think about is, you know, keeping a positive mental attitude. You know, that's a huge thing, you know, just staying positive in yourself, because, you know, we can run ourselves down if we start, like, you know, not thinking positively.
Well, that's true. You know, that's one thing that I have learned in my field as an intuitive counselor or a reader, however we say it. Your mind, it's most important. And I think that I feel that a lot of the individuals that I've had here on the show, all of us say the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's your mind power. It's how you see things. And if you can stay strong with your mind, then you can get through anything.
Exactly.
And yeah,
Exactly.
see? Because if not, it can wear us totally down. And that's also called ego. So we don't want ego to hang around. We really don't.
Mhm.
But with a lot of people, they allow. You know,
Mhm.
that a lot of people, I think sometimes, or hopefully not, but some people just like to be sick.
Well, I don't think that they mean to, but sometimes you get into this mentality that it's okay to have a headache every day, or it's okay to be achy or feel sick every day, or for their back to hurt. We get into the society where it's okay just to feel that way when it's really not, when you don't have to feel like that every day. But we live in a society where most people think, okay, well, I have low back pain. Okay, you have to have that for life. No, you really don't.
No.
And we live in a society where it's very accepted to be
Mm.
hurting and feel achy or not feel well.
Right. I don't want to be that way, and I
No.
know you don't want to
No.
be that way. But I see that you have some little guys over here.
Yes. Yes.
And I really wish you would explain them. But before you do that, Dr. Jenny, let me tell everyone that if you'd like to call in, the phone number is 727-597-4022. You can ask us a question. You can give us some information maybe that we don't know. Whatever you'd like to do, but please call in. Okay, now what do we have there?
So basically, these are the different stages of degeneration. So this is basically a normal textbook spine. Let me pull this closer. Basically, the textbook version of what normal is. And then as you progressively get worse, you can see the degeneration. And I don't know if you'll be able to see this or not from where you're at. Let's see if I can see it from where you're at. But basically, it's what's normal, and then it goes progressively. The same as what these go, but in the reverse order. So I'm going to turn this around. So this is what normal, basically phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. And as you can see, basically normal, the disc looks healthy. And then as you progressively get worse, it starts to degenerate. And as it gets worse, they basically cause some lipping and spurring. I don't know if you can see that on the film or not. And then basically that will basically make the disc less, and you can kind of see how it starts.
Oh,
And then
yeah.
as it gets worse, the lipping and spurring basically touch each other, But basically what the spine is doing is it's basically trying to take the two vertebrae, and it's trying to provide stabilization. And so that's why it does these different stages. And these are basically, this will only happen is if you're not really taking care of your body and you're not getting adjusted. And what happens is from here to here, that's when you have basically a loss of cervical curve. So say you have some traumatic event in your life, like you fall or you have a car accident or something happens, and you may actually have an x-ray or something that says, okay, loss of cervical curve, or you've been to a chiropractor or you've been to another doctor and they said, okay, you have a loss of cervical curve. That's when it goes from here to here. If you don't take care of it, it's going to go to here. If you fix it, it goes to here. So it kind of progressively goes this way as if you fix it. When you get to this stage, basically, the vertebrae kind of calcify. So basically, this will actually at some point could calcify to itself and will, because basically the body is doing such a good job of trying to stabilize itself, is it will actually adhere these, and so they'll no longer be movable. And that's when you see somebody walking who may not actually be able to bring themselves upright, who they start to get kind of like bent over. That's what this is what their spine looks like.
Well, before my best friend crossed over, her back was actually hunched. So that would have been caused by the spine also.
Yep,
Is that correct?
Exactly. And basically the spine is, the structure of what basically gives your whole body, basically the structure of your whole body. So if there's something going on where the structure is not supporting the rest of the body, because the organs are going to move with all these things. So like say if somebody has scoliosis, the spine is going to move and it's going to push on the lungs, it's going to push on the heart, it's going to push on those different organs, and so those organs have to accommodate for that moving. So that's why sometimes it can cause some problems depending on what the degree of scoliosis is.
But you know what? She never complained about her back.
And sometimes they may not. What happens too is your body basically will not cause you to have pain initially. Pain is basically something that comes after a long time of something being a problem. Our bodies are kind of, if you think about a car, and all of a sudden the check engine light goes on. Has a car, it didn't just go on because it just had a problem. It's been going on for a while. You weren't doing maintenance on it, you weren't checking it up, and then all of a sudden the light comes on, and then it may come off for a second. So you're like, oh, it's fine. And that's with your body too. Your body will send pain signals and say, okay, there's a problem. And then it'll say, oh, wait, I'm fine. And so you think, I'm fine, I don't have pain. And all of a sudden the light goes back on again. And that's when when you finally say, okay, maybe I should get this checked out. It keeps going on. And now it's making some noises, it's making some like clinking noises and other things are going on. Maybe now I need to check it out. And we all do it. We live in a society where we don't always want to like take care of ourselves. We make sure our families are taken care of first before we take care of ourselves. And so at some point, we finally ask our families, is this something I need to get checked out? Either whether you're talking about the car or your own self.
But that's a good way to look at it. The engine light coming on.
Yeah, the engine light doesn't come on the day that there's a problem. Your car will also try to accommodate for things and try to fix things and reroute things. And your body does the same thing. The minute you start feeling pain, it's not the minute that there's been a problem. It's been something that's been coming on for a while, and finally your body is going to alert you that there's a problem.
Isn't that something? Yeah. Well, that's a good way for everyone to really look at it. And if something's wrong with me, I usually wait a while.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I test it. I want to see if I can fix it.
Right. Right. And we all do that. We live in a society that's made that way. Just to keep going, you'll be fine. I'll get over it.
Yeah. Take 2 ibuprofen, which I forgot to do before I came over here. Oh, Dr. Jenny and I this morning was talking about workout, and I know y'all know that my favorite thing is the sledgehammer and the tire. Well, that's Dr. Jenny's favorite thing.
I love it too. I do CrossFit, and it's one of my favorites too. I really do enjoy it.
I am so happy to know that because Victor does manage to give me that, and I did have it again this morning. And I love to hit the tire in different places so that the impact of the sledgehammer coming back, the hammer coming back, it's different.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's really, workout can be a lot of fun, everyone. Might not sound like it, but it is. I love it. I really do. Now, the one thing that Wikipedia did say, and I want to go into the treatment techniques, is it says spinal manipulation, which chiropractors call spinal adjustment or chiropractic adjustment, is the most common treatment used in chiropractic care. And that isn't exactly what you were just saying, am I right?
Yeah, so basically there's a lot of different techniques. While we're in school, we learn a set number of techniques, but then also there's techniques that I learned outside. Well, actually, while I was in school, they have electives you can take. So techniques such as activator that some people may have heard of, where it's an adjusting tool that's very gentle, but it's really, 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 really effective for patients who have acute injuries, such as a car accident, or athletes initially, especially because they're really acute, or also as we get older and our bodies become a little bit more osteoporotic, using basically the activator on those people too. So there's different techniques that that I will use depending on that person and depending on their body, depending on what they need.
When you say activator, it's not necessarily using a machine; it's moving the muscle, right?
Well, it is adjusting with basically using an adjusting tool.
Yes.
It's like I should have brought one into the office, but if anybody wants to Google it, it's activator is what it looks like, and it basically you click it and it puts the force in, and so it's very gentle and it's very quick, but it's very effective. So.
And I think he used that on my shoulder.
He may have. It's really good for extremities.
Yeah.
Very good.
So
very effective.
Okay, so that was the activator is one of 7 different techniques.
Yeah, I also do Thompson, diversified, Gonstead, some Pedibon. What else?
And do you use that same instrument?
No, those other ones are more manual adjusting with my hands.
There you go. See, that was a good question.
Yes.
All right, now you named, I think, 6. Did you miss one?
There's also toggle, which I will use occasionally.
Oh, okay. Okay, so that mainly those are with your hands. Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay, that's good to know, though. And what I want to say is this, and do you do any? And I hope this isn't a bad question to ask. Well, no question is really bad. But does any Reiki healing come in with what you're doing, or any form of healing?
I would say yes, but it's not Reiki. I've never actually taken that technique. It's funny. I've actually had patients tell me that they've had that done them before, and they say it's a lot with like the hands being very warm or something, and they've said that they could feel that in my hands. But I've actually never had the taken any classes on the technique or know anything really that much about it. So.
No, but I'm sure. Do your hands get warm when you're doing
Yes,
work on people's
mhm.
bodies? Yeah,
Mhm.
I'm sure. So that is really
Yeah.
a
So
form of hands-on healing or healing. So that's good to know. But anyway, once more, I'm going to give you all the phone number: 727-597-4022. Now, what else can we tell everybody, Dr. Jenny?
should we talk about?
Oh, we can talk about that.
Basically, we're going to be having a health fair at my office. It's called Ribley Chiropractic Family Center. It's located at 8523 West Hillsborough Avenue. That's in Tampa, Florida. That's at the intersection of where Hillsborough meets Sheldon meets Memorial.
Right.
We're actually, it's welcome and open to the whole community and to your families as well. It's Saturday, May 4th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And we're actually going to be doing a health food cook-off also. And we're doing prizes for the best muffin and best meatballs. And then there'll also be like vendors there, door prizes, and other screenings as well. But the cook-off starts at noon.
Oh, that's good.
So,
that's good to know.
Yeah.
And I'll be there reading. I'll be doing readings.
Yes, and she will be there as well.
I will. I'm glad to know that. That will be a good thing.
Yes, we're very excited.
I'm sure. Yeah, because you had one not too long ago. When was that?
That was in December. That was a girls' night out, kind of like before Christmas, getting ready for like the holidays type thing.
Yes.
And it was a great event. A lot of vendors and really good event.
It's a good idea.
Well attended as well.
Yes, it's a good idea. Now, you do considerable amount of travel. Am I correct in that?
Yeah, I attend a lot of different seminars for travel, depending on what the seminar is. I'm doing the Parker seminars, so I'll be actually in Montreal next month for that seminar.
Oh, how nice.
Yeah, and I was in Vegas in January for another seminar.
Did you visit the slot machine?
Not the slot machines.
Oh, okay. What did you visit?
Just like the tables, just.
And did you win anything?
I won a little money. I'm not a pro. I went on a cruise and learned how to play once, and now I'm.
Now you know how to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you take your time, right?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that's good to know. I'm glad to know. My son does that.
Oh, okay.
Every now and then he'll go to Vegas, and every now and then he'll win.
That's good.
So, and he does the tables. Well, that's good to know that you do, and that you're going to Montreal to boot.
Mm-hmm.
So, when you do that, do you have time to get out and see anything?
It depends. Most of the seminars, we're consumed with class, basically sitting in class, but we'll try to go for dinners and kind of see the city at night, I guess, more than during the day. But yeah, great events. I mean, the seminars are amazing. It makes you, I don't know, appreciate chiropractic even more than you already do, and it kind of shows you a new light into chiropractic.
I think that's great. I really do. And then the other thing I was going to ask you is, did you get to any of the shows in Vegas?
This time I'm trying to remember who we went and saw. There was one show we went and saw, but I can't remember who it was now. It was like one of the new shows that just went out, but I can't remember what's her name now. But I've been to Vegas multiple times and gone and see like the Cirque du Soleils. And,
the Cirque du Soleil is
yeah,
so nice.
Very, very nice.
Oh, I love them. I went to Baltimore, Maryland not too long ago. I guess it's been 2 years now. My son got his tickets for the Cirque du Soleil there.
Ah, okay.
And that was, they're just, and now, that's a good thought. Now, you think about that. They have to keep their body in good shape for everything that they do.
Oh, yeah.
And hopefully not have to have a chiropractor, but.
Well, maybe they do. I mean, a lot of like sports athletes and, a lot of the teams, they have their own chiropractor. Even in the Olympics, there was chiropractors that went there. And at some point, that's on my bucket list of things to do, is to be like the Olympics chiropractor. I think that would be amazing.
Okay, so now when they go, do they do massages, or do they just mainly work on the
I think that
parts of the
they're just
body?
adjusting. I think there are massage therapists that go too because I've heard stories about other massage therapists going.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, the chiropractors will just adjust.
They just will adjust.
Mhm.
Okay, well, that's good to know too. See, so I do love to get massages. I'm due to get one soon. I hope. I'm giving it a lot of thought. I want y'all to know that Dr. Jenny has a bucket.
Yes, I do have a bucket list.
I need to say bucket list, but she has a bucket, and she has some good ideas in that bucket. That was a good movie, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yes.
I haven't seen it in a while. I actually was just thinking I need to revisit that movie. I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah, that it's really it's a good thing to do. And we were also talking about what I call treasure maps, but what you can also call a vision board,
Mhm.
and that is putting in a photograph book, or putting on paper, let me say it that way, what it is that you really want out of life, which is part
Mhm.
of your bucket list,
Mhm.
right?
Exactly.
So I have one, and Dr. Jenny has one, and I think that's really interesting because that makes it you can visit those pages
Oh yeah.
and put it in your mind. And here we go again, in your mind,
Mhm.
what you want out of life,
Right.
and just visualize it and know that it's going to come to you one way or another.
Mhm.
So I think that's it's a very positive way to go about your day, I think.
Yes, I agree. I also am a firm believer in The Secret. I don't know if you have you read that book?
Oh, yes, yes. I had my daughter on a show, and I'll tell you about that. All right, go ahead. Finish talking
Yes,
about
I
it.
love I find that book very enlightening. Sometimes when you're, trying to figure out your next step in your life or one thing is just kind of going one way and you want it to be going the other, I'll just read the chapter on whatever that's about and it really does bring insight and kind of brings you back to focus. And that's where I actually through that but also through Parker seminars because they talk about doing those vision boards too. It kind of encouraged me to work on my vision boards.
I'm glad to know that they do
Yeah,
that.
because
Oh.
some of the people who speak at the seminars are people who wrote in the book.
Oh,
So
how
yeah, so I've actually
nice.
listened to some of them speak. Some of the people who are actually in the movie and the people who talk in the book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, my daughter has the video
Uh huh.
and watches it all the time.
Mhm.
And she also has another book that she's reading, and it's to do with how much we appreciate and what we appreciate.
Oh, that's good.
So, and she's listening to CDs that are helping her to, through so that she can make more money,
Hmm.
and do it in a way where she knows she deserves it.
Right.
Because there's so many blocks that we
Mhm.
have. Like, I've always been taught you have to work hard to make money.
Mhm.
Well, you don't have to work hard to make money.
It depends on your philosophy on money. That's what the book talks about too. On some people, not necessarily in my raising, but on other people on how they were raised, they believe that if you have money, you must have done something bad and you don't deserve it. And so I wasn't raised that way, but there are people who are raised that way, and so it creates a very negative stigma on money. But you can't think that way. You have to think
No.
positively about it because you know I feel like the more money I have, the more I can give and the more I can do, and
And that's important.
Mhm.
And yes, the more you have, the more you can give. And one of my guests missed coming here a couple weeks ago,
Okay.
and I called my daughter, and my daughter lives in England,
Oh, okay.
and she said, "It's okay, Mom. I'll call you, and I'll come on your show." And we talked about prosperity, the secret,
Mhm.
and everything that you can do to change your way of thinking so that you can enjoy your life more and not go through the stress of thinking that you don't deserve it.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
see?
And that goes back to the whole, maintaining a positive mental attitude. We talk about that too. Those are like part of the 5 factors of health that I really try to, you know, emphasize and tell my patients to focus on and that's one of them too is, just being positive, because it really will take an effect on your life and those around you.
And it does. Now, you said 5 factors.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what they are.
So the 5 factors of health are making sure to get plenty of rest, exercise, eat right, also drinking plenty of water, also getting adjusted, maintaining a healthy spine, and also keeping a positive mental attitude. So those are the
Okay,
5.
yes, and you said it in the beginning.
Yes.
Yes, you did.
Yeah. So I'm always, it just naturally comes out because I tell my patients all the time, like if they're having something going on, I'm like, okay, focus on this. And I'll just tell them one of those facts, one of the things that they need to focus on that week. And for a lot of people, it has really helped.
Tell them to exercise.
Yeah. Well, exercise is important.
Yeah, and then they'll run out the door.
It depends. It's actually really funny. A lot of my patients are currently already working out, and they have found out that just getting adjusted while they're working out, their body's repair time is faster. They feel better. That time where they were getting a lot more fatigue and feeling kind of achy, that goes away a lot faster when you're getting adjusted.
Oh, and that's something. That's a good thing to know.
Mm-hmm. I think that's why a lot of the athletes get adjusted too. I mean, you have to think, okay, so if you're not feeling as achy as long and you feel, like your stamina is back, then you can go back to the gym the next day and give your all. But if you're achy, it's harder to really give your 100%.
Now, I know, Dr. Jenny, that you said in the beginning that, sometimes we don't know, like our body's like the car and the engine light goes on.
Uh-huh.
Well, I feel like I'm in good shape, but now I'm listening to you. I wouldn't need a body adjustment, would I?
Well, I don't know. I would say the best thing to do if you're not sure is that you should get an exam and potentially maybe x-rays if I think that's necessary after we finish the exam. And that's really the only way you would know. Just basically how you're feeling is not a good judge of how your body is really functioning.
No, because my engine light might have went on and I would be just ignoring it.
That does happen.
I'll tell it, wait till it gets worse. Then I'll pay attention. But that's a good question. Mm-hmm. I'll have to give that some thought. Mm-hmm. Maybe I just might need to have to come in for some attention. Mm-hmm. But let me tell everyone now, Jenny, do you have a webpage or email or... Yes. Would you like to give that?
Sure.
And, please tell them where your office is in Tampa.
Yeah,
it's
on the corner of Hillsborough where Sheldon meets Memorial. So it's 8523 West Hillsborough Avenue if you want to Google it. But basically, what was the second thing? Oh, chirojenny.com is my website. So CHIRO Jenny, JENNY.com.
Yeah, please tell them how to spell Jenny.
Yeah, with a Y.
Yes, with a Y.
JENNY.
Well, because we all make the mistake of putting the EY there.
Yeah, true.
Yes. Okay, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do is to let everybody know what's coming up with me. It was St. Patty's Day, Sunday, St. Patrick's Day. So did you have fun on St. Patrick's Day?
Yes, I did.
I did too.
Spent some time with friends. It was good. Really good. Good holiday.
I did, and I wore green, and I did work that day. But I went over to Cody's afterwards and had a picture taken of Jonathan and I. And Jonathan is one of the barmen that I've known for years. And he and I took a picture. And I don't know, I have an I-4 thanks to my son. And Victor told me this morning my picture went out there twice.
Oh.
He said he thinks it might even went out there 3 times. So I don't know, but that's due to the fact that I don't know what I'm doing. And I don't have problems at telling you all that. But anyway, I have a lot going on as usual. So the one thing I would tell every one of y'all is, like, for next week, my guest is going to be Sharon Kistler, and we're going to talk about awakening and awareness. And then the other thing that I'd like for y'all to know is that Pearl is coming. That was my guest a couple weeks back that didn't quite make it, and she is coming back, and she'll be here April the 2nd, and we're going to do a prosperity spell. So I think that's going to be amazing, and I'm looking forward to it. I really am. And I am out at the flea markets. I'm at Treasure Island on Friday from 8:30, or we could say from 9 to 1:30. And then I'm at the Osmar Flea Market on Sunday, and I'm there from 9 to 4. That's a must. You must be there from 9 to 4. You cannot even sneak out unless you tell her. So I haven't snuck out yet. But anyway, I work out at Mystical Sense and on Thursdays, and that's in Thonotassa. So if anybody would like a reading, I'm there from 12 to 5 or 6. And I'm there 3 Thursdays in the month. The third Thursday, I go to the villages. I'm also going to be in at Benjamin Studio, which is my favorite place because that's Joe and Karen. I will be there Saturday on the 30th of this month. So if anybody would like a reading, that's over on 104th Street in Treasure Island. And then one more thing. Isn't that something? It went right out of... Oh, there it is. The Atman Center, which is in Pinellas, is the Atman Intuitive Fair. That's coming up. That's going to be on April the 20th. So if anybody is interested in readings there, the phone number is 727-474-1236. Go out onto my webpage, which is www.bluefeather.net, and you can go under my calendar, and I have all the information out there at least 9 times out of 10. And sometimes my social media person catches up with me to let me know I didn't put it in the right place. But you can do that, and then you can go to my webpage and go to events and watch the show. And I'm really glad to know that. So that's another thing. And I've also got it out on YouTube, our shows. So I'm really proud of that, too. All right. So that gives y'all quite a bit of information of what we're doing and where we're going. Now, Dr. Jenny, how much more can we tell them? We got about 8 minutes left.
Is there anything else that you would like me to talk about?
I think that it would be up to you on that round because I've asked you all my questions.
I guess I could talk about the fair a little bit more too. And I forgot to say that for the health food cook-off, we're accepting 20 entrees per dish. So if you're interested, please call to basically put your name in that you're going to be bringing a dish. That number is 813-886-8824. That number again, 813-886-8824. And the health fair is going to be on Saturday, May 4th at 11 o'clock in the morning till 1 p.m. And hopefully lots of people will attend and it will be well attended. We've always had a lot of great events at the office. So it's one of those quarterly events that we'll be having again, and it's going to be held at my office.
You don't think it'll go past 1 o'clock?
Well, if it does, it does. But
I have a feeling that it just might.
It may, especially because the cook-off's starting at noon. So.
Yes. I'll give you that message. I feel it'll last longer than 1 o'clock. And I know that it's going to be a lot of fun. I'm really looking towards that. Is there anything else? Did we talk about preventive care? We did, right? Or wellness preventive care? Did we do that?
Yeah, I guess we didn't really talk about children really that much in chiropractic. So maybe, I don't know if that's going to open a whole more than we have time to talk about today. Maybe we'll have to have a whole new session just for that. But basically, I've been adjusted since I was a child, and things can happen when you're basically going through the birthing process, and it can cause a lot of trauma on the spine and on the baby. And sometimes they can basically present symptoms. The baby will, like they're not sleeping through the night, or they're crying excessively, or they're getting ear infections commonly, or they're just getting sick a lot. They may just need to have their spine checked and see kind of what's going on with their spine, because a lot of times when those symptoms are portraying themselves, it's usually have to do with the upper cervical. So C1, C2 vertebrae are basically subluxated or out of place.
No, that's a good idea. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, that's fine. So, a lot of times once the children get checked, it's amazing. Children heal so much faster than we do as adults. So their treatment plans are a lot less. Their frequency of coming in is a lot less, but the relief and in how great they feel is amazing. I'll have parents tell me all the time, like how well the children are sleeping, or They can just tell it they're just much more happy. But you have to think, if you're feeling better, it's easy to be happier, or be less cranky, or, the things that when you're a child are lot different than when you're adults.
Right. And my daughter has two. I have two grandbabies. My daughter has two babies, my grandbabies.
Mm-hmm.
And really fairly pretty healthy, I'm sure. But listening to you, and if they don't sleep at night and things like that, that they could really have a spinal problem, even though they're that young.
Yeah, and sleep is a huge thing. I mean, that's when your body is taking the time to repair and rest. And so if your body's not getting that time to rest and repair, that's when you can have a lot of other issues going on too. Because, rest is one of those 5 factors of health, making sure you're getting plenty of rest. And if you're not getting that because you don't feel well or there's other things going on, then you may want to get your spine checked and see, do you need to be adjusted, or is there something else going on that, we need to send you out for?
I know we've said this, Dr. Jenny, I know we have, but even with adults who don't sleep well, as the older ones, it could be the spine.
It could be, for sure.
Whereas they blame it on other things.
And a lot of times they're not sleeping because they're hurting. A lot of times people will say, I couldn't sleep because my low back was just killing me, or this was happening. So who knows of why is the reason that you're not sleeping well. You have to kind of find the root of the problem. Is it just that they're not sleeping well, or is it because they're actually having pain or other things going on that are causing that no pain, not being able to sleep?
Yeah, see, and most nights I do, I can sleep well, most nights. But there are some nights that I've got so much on my mind that I think what mind I have is doing double time. And I'm laying there thinking things out is what I'm doing. And then I don't rest well. But when I get up in the morning and I have energy, I am a happy camper.
Yeah.
And I had energy this morning, which was probably a good thing because he worked it out of me. But I'm so very appreciative that you came on.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Oh, having come on the show. I just love all the ones that have come on. We all do. You all give good information. You really do. And I'm grateful for that because I know that y'all are out there listening. And if you're not, then you can always listen after the show by going out to, once more, my webpage and go under events. It's all right there, the videos. Plus, I'm out on YouTube. And when I send my flyers out, I will be sending the link, my newsletter. I send the link. I will start sending the link so that you can go right to the week. And that's going to be important. So I just want to tell everybody to have a great day. And is there anything else you want to add, Dr. Jenny?
No, I don't think so. But thank you for having me. And it was a pleasure. And look forward to more in the future.
And we will. And really, I think perhaps next time what we can do is talk about the children.
Yeah.
And let everybody know certain symptoms and or whatever that can occur with children so that they can pay special attention. So, all right. Well, thank you very much. I will talk to you all soon, like in next week. So please join me and have a great evening. Thank you for joining us today on Insight. Join us weekly where we will give spiritual insight, tips, and techniques to aid you on your spiritual journey. May Spirit be with you.